Well, I'm going to Lisbon at 4 o'clock in the morning, so for the Champions League final, Women's Champions League, so that will brighten me up.
Arsenal versus Barcelona, the Women's Champions League final. Lianne will be there. It is live for you on talkSPORT 2 this Saturday, 5 o'clock kickoff. Joe Shannon and the West Ham women's manager, Lianne Skinner, are your commentary team for it. One game standing between Arsenal and Barcelona and becoming the champions of Europe. Two giants going head-to-head. For the Spanish side, a chance to three-peat their success on this stage. 3 consecutive titles. It would be a 4th overall. The red side of North London have reached the final for the first time since 2007 when they went on to complete the treble.
Quadruple,
yeah. A continental treble, sorry, I should have said. But yes, it was a quadruple. You were part of that squad. And you're looking forward to this Arsenal team doing something special this weekend. Can they do it?
I believe they can. My head and my heart are telling me like 2 different things. Barcelona are the best in the world. There's a reason why they're going for their 3-peat. But like, I was at the training ground this week. We got invited by the club, which was really, really nice to go and have a lunch with the players' first team squad. And like, it was nice to be around the team. I know a lot of them anyway, but like, it's changed so much.
Yeah.
You know, women's football, like, I wish that we had like all the things they have. Like, the food was unreal. Like,
oh yeah. What else?
What else?
Because we know, and a lot of the female players tell us, the ones that have kind of transitioned from one period to the next, you know, they almost can't believe the difference in facilities, investment and all of that. But we also know that Arsenal have been at the forefront of those changes, inspired by, you know, the team that you were in, really, you know, building on that success and knowing that you can bring such joy to the thousands of fans that you guys had at the time, really at the forefront of women's football. You know, when you walk into that environment, what are the main things that stand out to you and you think, I wish we had this? I
mean, to be fair, the club couldn't have done any more for us back in the day. I said this many times. Like, we had the men's first team boss, Vic Akers was the men's kit manager, and he was our first team manager. So, like, we trained at the training ground at times. You know, we trained at Highbury, at the JVC Centre. So the club did everything they could to a certain degree. But now, when I was at the training ground the other day, I said to my partner, I said, I don't really miss playing. But there's moments like this where I think, wow. Like, and to be fair, towards the end of my career, I did
5-star treatment,
get given that. No, but like the food was, I do. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm from South East London, Hugh, so I do know I'm like, you know, born and bred.
Classy.
So I don't forget where I'm from. But at the same time, like, the food was unreal at the training ground. You know, everything's changed, and I'm delighted for that. And like, one thing I do love about that football club is that they respect what we've done. You know, Kelly Smith is the assistant coach there now, you know, and she was part of our squad that won the quadruple. And I know that the players, like when I was talking to Alessia Russo, Kim Little and all the girls, like, they really value us, you know, and like the chief executive was there. He did a speech in front of the whole team, and like, it was really nice to feel really valued. So I can't thank the club enough for that. But on to the game, like, I'm going to Lisbon. I'm leaving my house at 4 o'clock in the morning to get to the game. I'm working the game. Like, I can't wait. And for me, Hugh, if Arsenal were to win it, like, Chelsea have been there before, and I was at Chelsea for a year, but it never really felt like it was the right move for me, you know, and I'm grateful that they let me get out of my contract and go to America. But like, Arsenal is my team when it comes to the women's side, and like, if I can be there, you know, 17, 18 years after we won it, and for the girls to go on to win this would be like a dream come true for me. Like, I think I'll be quite emotional, to be honest, because that was the best day of my life.
Would you wear an Arsenal shirt?
No, that won't happen.
Okay, so you don't love them that much.
No, that will not happen. But I'll be rooting for them, and I told them all, like, genuinely, but Barcelona, it'll be difficult.
It's a tough game.
Oh.
Tonight is a Football Writers Awards dinner. The winners were announced a couple of weeks ago. Alessia Russo won the award in the women's game. If Arsenal are going to win this game, they need her at her best. She has improved, I think, during her time at Arsenal, moving from Manchester United. She seems to be comfortable at the club. You got to speak to her this week. What are the main improvements you've seen in her game? And is it something actually off the pitch maybe that's inspired her?
I think it's the confidence. I think under Jonas Eidevall, she came from Manchester United. They paid a lot of money for her, and she never really got given a chance. A bit like Kobbie Mainoo under Ruben. You know, when a manager's just not having you. And I feel like this season she's been given the opportunity to play more. Kelly Smith has been working closely with her as well as the greatest ever England player we've ever had, apart from me. I'm only joking. I'm only joking. But yeah, Kelly Smith's the greatest ever player we've ever had, and to be working closely with Kel. And she's just a nice person. Like, I've said this many times. I'm like, I want her to be like, you know, just have a little bit of nastiness to her, like on the pitch. And I think she's brought that to her game this year. And I think genuinely she's one of the best players in the world. I love her. I think she's top player. But I think also Mariona Caldente has made that move from Barcelona to Arsenal, and she's in the final now, and she's been brilliant for Arsenal this year, and she'll know Barcelona all too well, but they are a top side, Hugh.
I was going to say, just tell us about the Barcelona team. You know, they're going for a 3-peat. The team is littered full of World Cup winners, multiple European winners. The quality of the football they play is exquisite. firstly tell us about the stars in that team, but then how do Arsenal stop them?
Yeah, I mean, they're top. When you watch them live, you have a true understanding. I mean, the fact that their centre-back, Lianne, takes the corners just about speaks true to how technical they all are over the pitch. And I think, you look at Alexia Putellas, she was the best player in the world before she got injured. Then I turn upon Mati is now the best player in the world. Like, the last 5 Ballon d'Ors, FIFA's best, they've won. And they just are amazing. They genuinely are. And they run their team like the way they run the men's team. They recruit from within. The manager, Jonathan Heraldez, was an assistant before. Then he became the coach. Now he's in America. And I think, they just seem to have a certain style, but the quality and the ability is on a different level. But what Arsenal need to do is they have to believe. We were the underdogs when we won it in 2007. And I've said it many times. We played against Marta's team, Umea, and they had their limousines outside. They had the party already planned. And, we had a 2-legged final, which is even crazy to even think about. Alex Scott scored away. And then, to be fair, we rode our luck in that game. We held on for dear lives. Genuinely, we were defending with our lives. Yeah, we did a Spurs. But they were just better than us. But we won the game. Genuinely. And we had that heart and that desire. And I think the girls can take... Football has changed in this country, women's football. But I think the girls can take a lot of heart from what we did. Because as soon as we knew there was a party plan for them, we were like, nah. We didn't even talk about that. We just let our football do the talking.
Okay, and you won it. You brought home a quadruple as well. Fingers crossed, Arsenal can bring home the Champions League final. This weekend, Arsenal, Barcelona, 5 o'clock, live from Lisbon on talkSPORT 2. Saturday, 5 o'clock, I should say. Joe Shannon, West Ham women's manager, Lianne Skinner, on your commentary team for that one. Massive game for the Gunners.